Imagine you are in an interview for a QA position. I'm your interviewer. And I ask you, how do you test this pen? What would your response be? As a senior QA, I've asked and answered this question numerous times. If you're applying to QA roles, especially junior roles, you're gonna be hearing this a lot. It feels like an innocent softball question, but that's exactly why nobody gets it right. I'm going to give you a high-yield approach to this question that will not only get the answer, but leave a lasting impression on the interviewer as well. Given the breadth of possible answers, it doesn't matter how you test it if you don't even know who it's for. The best approach here is simply to answer, not with an answer, but with a question. Who is this pen for? Any self-respecting business is going to have a customer in mind. A pen for everyone is a pen for no one. Once you know who the pen is for, then you're all set. It now comes down to coming up with the test cases. It is worth remembering that interviewers want to see you think outside the box. Let's say that the users are children. This is a fun one because children destroy things. They eat things, they scribble on walls, they do all sorts of stuff. So knowing that a child is the customer for the pen, so to speak, well, the parents, right? The test cases kind of write themselves. First, you want to test the ink to make sure it's not toxic. They're going to eat it, guaranteed. Ensure that the pen's not a choking hazard. Examine the parts of it. Test how sturdy they are against abuse. You can always rely on kids to destroy stuff. If it's broken, does it break into pieces? If they do break into pieces, can the child eat the pieces? Because you bet they will eat those too. Notice that we haven't even gotten to writing on paper yet. There's so much that's just ripe for the taking that candidates don't even get to. They simply just do the very simple, basic test cases like, does this write on paper? As ridiculous as these test cases seem, this is exactly what thinking outside of the box looks like. And it is being targeted towards the correct user. These aren't just coming from nowhere. Now that I mention it, we can go through the obvious cases now while we're here. So we can test to make sure that this writes clearly. It's worth testing to see if the ink dries. Verify labeling on the pen right until the ink runs out. By this point, you've made an impression, no doubt about it. But the interviewer might ask you another question, and that's, how do you prioritize these test cases? Now, this is a solid question. You could name plenty of tests all you want, but at the end of the day, there are so many hours in a day. When you're testing in the real world, there are things that you're going to have to focus your testing on more than others. So where do you set your priorities? Well, the easiest thing is definitely going to be safety. That's what companies should be doing anyway, so if they're not prioritizing safety if needed, then why are you interviewing there? Go, run away, please. In regards to other factors that go into priorities, you can also think about environmental factors, frustrations, and the key features. In terms of environment, it's worth thinking about what sorts of places these people are going to be in. If you're a blue-collar worker, you're going to be probably out in the sun or in the cold. So you would want to make sure that you're prioritizing stress testing. Let's say you have a certain frustration, like you're a writer. You write all the time. You're constantly putting pen to paper, which means you're using lots of ink. If the ink runs out really fast, then you're going to be really frustrated and you're going to want to use a different pen, then the pen's failed its job. If there's a critical feature that the pen needs to come with, then that needs to be a huge part of the testing. For example, calligraphy pens. The one job of a calligraphy pen is to look real fancy when you write a certain way. So you want to make sure that that's nailed down. As you can see, this question opens up tons of different conversations and really shows how much somebody can think without even needing to touch a line of code. This makes it a huge staple when I interview people myself. So how might you respond to this question? There's so many different angles that I didn't even touch on. So I would like to hear from you in the comments. Good luck on your next interview, and thanks for watching.